Hi everybody, this is Betty Lou Bhakti Susai Pillai, and today I'm going to talk about some tips on how to eat mindfully. And first of all, people say, well, what does eating mindfully mean and why do I want to? Well, some of the best reasons to eat mindfully are that when you pay attention to what you're eating, you tend to choose better nutritional choices, which improves your health. You tend to eat foods that are not only healthier for you, but you tend to eat the right amount of the foods. And you tend to pay attention to your bodily cues, like, am I hungry? Am I eating because I'm bored or depressed or happy? So that is the big advantage to choosing to eat mindfully. So one of the first things to do to eat mindfully is to try and eat without a lot of distractions. Sit at the table and eat, turn off the television. Try and pay attention to what you're eating by removing all the distractions. How many times have you been watching television and eating a snack and all of a sudden the whole bowl of popcorn is gone because you were so busy watching the show that you didn't notice that you were eating? So the first thing to eat mindfully is to remove distractions and sit down at the table and eat. The next way to eat mindfully is to really pay attention to how you feel before you're eating. Are you actually hungry? Or are you eating because you're emotionally distressed or because somebody has some chocolate candy on their desk? Eating mindfully is paying attention. Am I really hungry? Am I eating because I'm hungry? So that's the second tip. Am I hungry, and am I eating because I'm hungry, or is it because of some other emotional cue? The third thing that you should remember is that digestion actually begins in your mouth. So if you chew your food, it starts to process the food so you can assimilate the nutrients better. Also, chewing your foods prevents food allergies because your saliva and your DNA mingle with the food, so your body recognizes it as something you want to put in your body. So chew your food. I think I talked about before about how there's some people that say you should drink your food, meaning chew it so much that it's almost liquid. So chew your food as much as possible, and that's another way to eat mindfully. The next thing is to actually pay attention to the food. Does it look beautiful? How does it smell? Taste each and every bite. Really pay attention to the sensual nature of your food. It also will make you feel more satisfied to just enjoy the taste of your food. Now, by slowing down, paying attention to the taste of your food, chewing your food more, it gives your body more time to register the feeling of being full. So actually slowing down and taking your time to, take each bite, put the fork down between, look at the colors, smell the food, and then you will start feeling full sooner. So by paying attention to the food. Then last thing that is really great to do is to actually stop eating when you're full. But I was reading a book the other day called Mindless Eating or Mindful Eating. Can't remember the name of the book, but it suggested that you stop eating when you're no longer hungry. I mean, just think about how revolutionary that is. We've been taught in this culture to stop eating when we're no longer full. But if you eat fast or you eat mindlessly or you eat in your car, you don't even realize you're full yet, and then you've eaten the whole other amount of food that you have, and then you end up getting off the table and feeling stuffed, like overfilled. In this book, it was talking about when they asked French women who typically don't tend to be overweight, how they register when they're eating, when to stop. They said, I stop eating when I'm no longer hungry. So try that little tip, switch it a little bit. Of course you want to stop eating when you're no longer full. When you're full, but stop eating when you're no longer hungry. I think it makes a big difference. And then I had a couple of questions about how I eat, and my favorite way to eat is what I call girl meals. They're quick, fast meals that often don't even have to be cooked. A lot of salads. I'm a vegetarian, so, I can eat pretty much anything without cooking it. In the morning, often if I have to train a client or do a yoga class, I will eat these bars. They're called Plus Bar Energy Bar. But this is like my breakfast of choice if I'm going to meet a client. And I'll usually have a handful of nuts to go with it. And I mean a handful, just a little tiny handful. And I drink green tea. So that's my typical breakfast if I have to train somebody in the morning. Now, if I have a little bit more time, I love those chia puddings that you can make overnight in the refrigerator. And sometimes I'll have oatmeal, but not too often because you have to cook it. And then one of my other really favorite breakfasts are, of course, smoothies. Right now, my favorite smoothie, and that was the second question because I'm always talking about smoothies, is I like to use kale and spinach a lot. And if you're making kale into a smoothie, pull it off the stalks and just save the stalks to make soup or juice them, because the stalks don't grind up enough and the smoothie ends up being very sludgy. So pull the leaf off of the stalks of the kale, and then I'll often put like a half a cup to a cup of Greek yogurt. It's full fat yogurt, but it's organic, and it has no sugar in it. It's completely plain. So plain Greek yogurt. I'll squirt in some flaxseed oil. I'll put some type of green powder and some type of protein powder. Right now I have a raspberry chocolate pea protein powder, Plant Fusion, I believe it's called. It's really tasty. And then if I have sprouts, I'll throw a little handful of sprouts in there. Sometimes I'll put chia seeds or some ground flax seeds. And then my biggest favorite thing now is to put cacao nibs in my smoothie. Oh my goodness, they are so delicious. And then I'll usually choose some type of berries. Like right now, my favorite has been this mixed bag of berries that has raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. And then I'll throw all of that into my Ninja. I have a Ninja. It's a kind of a cheap Walmart Ninja, and it works really well. So if you want a good machine that's inexpensive, I don't even think I spent $40 on it. Got it at Walmart. And so I'll throw it all in the Ninja, and then I'll grind it up, and there's my smoothie. Sometimes I'll eat that for lunch too. Like if I eat these protein plus bars for breakfast, because I had a client that I was training or a yoga class that I was doing, then I will often have a smoothie for lunch. My second really to-go-to kind of meals are, big, gigantic salads. And I'm like crazy for arugula. And I'll often put like arugula and nuts and maybe dried cranberries and usually like a balsamic type vinaigrette or a wine vinaigrette on top of it. So I'll often make those. Sometimes I'll add beans, and once in a while I splurge and add cheese. So I try to always get the organic types of cheeses or dairy products, so I don't get the antibiotics and hormones and all that other bad stuff, and so that the animals have had a better life. I feel bad for the animals that have to endure the factory farm type. So those are like two of the I guess that's 3. Those energy bars, smoothies, and salads are my biggest type meals that I eat. And then today, what I actually did for lunch is I went out into the garden, picked some big leaves of Swiss chard, and I got Amy's black refried beans. I put them on top of the Swiss chard, put a handful of broccoli sprouts and a little bit of fresh basil, and I rolled up the Swiss chard and made like a Swiss chard wrap with the refried beans, and then I dipped it in organic salsa, and it was really good. So those are the kind of meals that I tend to eat. And like I said, the best way to eat is to eat mindfully. By eating mindfully, you tend to eat healthier foods in the right proportions, and you intend to enjoy your food more. So I hope that this broadcast has been helpful today. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at info@bettylou.me, BETTELOU.me. And I hope you have a really great rest of the day. Bye.